Once upon a time there lived a family of unicorns in a beautiful, lush green valley surrounded by tall mountains and clear blue skies. There was Una the mother unicorn, her husband Orion, and their 3 young unicorn children named Luna, Nova and Comet. Their valley was a magical place filled with rainbow waterfalls, fields of colorful flowers, and glittery caves full of gems and crystals. The unicorns spent their days frolicking in the meadows, stargazing at night, and using their healing magic to help the creatures of the forest. One sunny morning, the unicorn children were playing tag in the fields while Una and Orion watched over them. Little Luna's silvery laugh rang out as she chased her brothers around a patch of daisies. Suddenly, a traveling wizard appeared in a flash of light on the edge of the meadow. He had a long white beard, dark blue robes covered in stars, and a tall pointy hat. In his hand he carried an ancient scroll tied with a golden ribbon. "Greetings, unicorns," said the wizard. "I am the Wizard of the West Wind, keeper of magical knowledge from around the world. I have traveled far and wide to bring you an important message." The unicorns gathered around curiously as the wizard unrolled the scroll. In glowing letters, it read, "Somewhere over the rainbow, a hidden treasure awaits. Follow the clues across the lands, for magic is your fate." The Wizard of the West Wind told the unicorns of a prophecy to find a magical treasure hidden somewhere over the rainbow. He said all they needed to find it was to follow the clues. The unicorns were amazed as no one had ever found the treasure before. The wizard gave them the first clue, to travel east to the mystic peaks where the moon rises. Then with a whirl of his cape, the wizard disappeared in another flash of light. The unicorns looked at each other with excitement. "A real treasure hunt," said Comet. "Imagine the adventures we'll have," said Nova. "We have to try and find it," said Luna. Una and Orion agreed it was a quest they must take for the unicorns to fulfill their magical destiny. The next morning, the unicorn family said goodbye to their valley and set off on their journey over the mountains to the east. They traveled through fields of wildflowers and misty forests, following the directions the Wizard of the West Wind had given them. At night, Luna, Nova and Comet took turns standing watch while the others slept under the stars. After many days of traveling they reached a sheer cliff face which blocked their path. "The mystic peaks," said Orion. "But how do we get to where the moon rises now?" The unicorn searched all around the mountainside until Nova spotted a small, hidden cave tucked away behind some bushes. "This must be the way," she cried. One by one, the unicorns entered the dark cave, lighting their horns to guide the way. As the unicorns moved deeper into the cave, following its twists and turns, the rough stone walls began to glimmer and shine. Soon they emerged into a massive cavern inside the mountain that took their breath away. The entire cavern was filled with towering crystal formations in every color: red, green, purple, and blue. In the very center was a giant amethyst crystal as big as a house that glowed from within. "It's beautiful," said Luna in a hushed voice. Just then, a beam of moonlight streamed in from an opening in the cavern ceiling, illuminating the giant crystal. The unicorns now knew they had found the spot where the moon rose over the mystic peaks. But where was the next clue? They searched every inch of the cavern until Comet spotted some faint writing etched into the wall behind the amethyst crystal. "I found something," he cried. The unicorns gathered round and read the flowing script: "Follow the frozen river north under diamond skies, to find the cauldron deep where fire eternally lies." "North. We must head north next to a frozen river," declared Una. The unicorns left the mystic crystal cavern and journeyed for days across forests and fields once more. As they traveled farther north, the air grew steadily colder. One morning they awoke to find the world covered in a blanket of snow and ice. "Look, the river is frozen solid," said Orion as they stood at the edge of a wide frozen river. "This must be the way." Carefully the unicorns crossed the slippery frozen river, thankful that their hooves kept them steady. On the other side, they entered a snowy pine forest. Luna gazed up in wonder at the night sky peeking through the tall evergreen trees. "Diamond skies," she exclaimed. The stars seemed to shine brighter and clearer here than anywhere else on their journey so far. As the unicorns slowly made their way through the silent forest, the trees began to thin until they came to a wide clearing. In front of them stood a tall, steep mountain with what looked like hot steam rising from vents dotting its rocky slopes. "That must be where the eternal fire lies," said Nova. "Inside the mountain," added Comet eagerly. Following the wisps of steam upward, the unicorns climbed the steep mountain path as plumes of hot air burst from cracks around them. At last, they reached the summit to find a bubbling pool of thick, hot liquid. "It's lava," cried Luna. Indeed, they had found a cauldron of molten lava, a volcano. Next to the seething pit sat a polished obsidian stone with words etched upon its surface: "Seek the palace in the clouds to find the rainbow's end. The treasure awaits atop the stair beneath the ancient sign." A palace in the clouds? The rainbow's end, wondered Orion aloud as they descended the volcano once more. This clue seemed the most perplexing yet. For days the unicorns traveled across the lands, looking for any sign of a palace in the clouds or a rainbow's end. Then late one night while camping on a cliffside, they saw an amazing sight. In the distance, a towering waterfall poured off the cliff's edge, and in the moonlight, a shimmering rainbow could be seen in the misty spray. "That's it," exclaimed Una. "Follow me." They raced along the clifftop until they were as close to the thundering falls as they could get. Peering over the cascade's brink, they could barely make out a narrow staircase carved into the cliff behind the falls leading upward. One by one they carefully descended the slippery stairs, the freezing waters drenching their manes and tails. At the bottom of the stairs, the unicorns found themselves in a mossy stone chamber. Across from them stood a towering archway engraved with ancient runes and symbols. They passed under the gigantic arch to emerge in an open courtyard with lush gardens. At the courtyard's end rose an immense palace made completely of white marble that seemed to glow in the moonlight. "The palace in the clouds," exclaimed Nova. Moving closer, they could see magnificent carvings of all sorts of magical creatures covering the palace walls and towers. Finally, they found a towering staircase leading up through the clouds to the palace's very top. With growing excitement, the unicorns climbed the long, long stairs until they stepped out onto the palace roof. There they found a pedestal with a shining chest upon it. An ancient carving of a rainbow adorned the chest's lid. "We found the hidden treasure," cried Luna and her brothers together. The unicorns gathered around the chest as Una used her magic horn to gently open it. A glow of rainbow light poured out, basking them all in its magical radiance. Every unicorn smiled in delight, for they had fulfilled the wizard's prophecy after the long quest. Together they touched horns, forming a rainbow bridge from the magical glow of friendship and family.